Did you ever think about what the solar system is? Space. Everything floats in space, right? Do you know why? They say it is because of gravity. Everything in the solar system is in a state of freefall on a large body of mass like a planet or the sun. Everything there is perpetually falling. So, in that sense, it is an abyss of darkness. I think everyone should reevaluate the idea of going into space. I think it is evil. It makes people deny heaven and God's throne in heaven. Do you believe in God in heaven on his throne? I hope you believe that instead of believing in a solar system with planets in a perpetual state of freefall. It seems so evil.
What's up? We're live, and I have Tommy Skyview with me, and we're going to talk about... Tommy says, what's up? We're going to talk about what's above us. That's one thing we're going to talk about, but we might end up going into or talking about this prophecy that Enoch made. Man, it's been blowing my mind. He prophesied that Jesus would come, and he didn't say it was Jesus, but he prophesied that at the time when Jesus came, the specific time that Jesus came, that many generations away from when Enoch was living, that
right.
that the, what did he say? That the fallen angels, Samyaza and his hosts, that took human women for wives, that they would be led off. It said they would be buried in the earth for 70 generations. And that happens to be the generation that Jesus was alive. And it says after 70 generations that they would be led off to the abyss of fire. And then it says it somewhere in the Bible, but it also says it in the first book of Adam and Eve. Let me just read a verse out of chapter 42. Adam was begging to go back to the land or to the place of rest. I'll just read a little bit of this, I guess, if you don't mind. Because I know we're going to talk about it, Thomas. I know we are. So this is chapter 42 in the first book of Adam and Eve. Then came the word of God to Adam and said unto him, O Adam, as to what thou sayest, bring me into the land where there is rest. It is not another land than this, but it is the kingdom of heaven where alone there is rest. But thou canst not make thy entrance into it at present, but only after thy judgment is past and fulfilled. Then will I make thee go up into the kingdom of heaven, thee and thy righteous seed, and I will give thee and them the rest thou askest for at present. Let me just pause there. So this is I'm just giving my humble opinion on some of these things.
Right.
Adam and Eve were told, it seems, that their, if you want to call it salvation or whatever you want to call it, eternal life, or here it's referring to it as a land where there is rest, which is heaven, that they're being promised that they're going to be taken up into heaven, right? That's what this is saying. He says, then will I make thee go up into the kingdom of heaven, thee and thy righteous seed, and I will give thee and them the rest thou askest for at present. And Thomas, maybe you can comment on this. My understanding for us, in the time that we live in, it seems like for us that there is a promise, but it's that the temple of God will come down out of heaven. And
physically.
So,
is that what you're saying?
Well, if that's the right word, it's, remember his kingdom's not of this world, and so saying physically is like, I understand what you're saying and can agree somewhat, but I think that's the wrong word. Literally, maybe. Like,
Literally.
because John did describe it. He described it having gates and all these magnificent stones and all this stuff. He described seeing it. So it's something that, in that sense,
But he was in the spirit.
yeah. And I don't, yeah, but he was seeing the end of the world or whatever. He was seeing something that would
In the
happen. So
future. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know exactly how that happens, but so this is what I'm gonna read the next couple verses. So he's saying he'll bring him up into heaven, him and his righteous seed, and it says, "And I will give thee and them the rest that thou askest for at present. If thou saidst, Give me the water of life that I may drink and live, it cannot be this day, but on the day that I shall descend into hell and break the gates of brass and bruise in pieces the kingdoms of iron. Then will I, in mercy, save thy soul and the souls of the righteous to give them rest in my garden. And that shall be when the end of the world is come." Here, listen to what he says here. This is a prophecy that the Word of God is making about, what's coming up. He says, "And again, as regards the water of life thou seekest, it will not be granted thee this day, but on the day that I shall shed my blood upon thy head in the land of Golgotha. For my blood shall be the water of life unto thee at that time, and not unto thee alone, but unto all those of thy seed who shall believe in me, that it be unto them for rest forever." So that's from the first book of Adam and Eve. And I think that's, sorry if I'm just yapping here, Thomas.
Oh, no, you're good, man.
I just, every time, like, it's like complicated to even understand that. So like, I'm thinking of people that were alive, like way after Enoch, and but they were alive before Jesus came. Like, say Isaiah, I think,
Yeah.
or even Jesus and his disciples. I think that they had a different understanding, or not a different understanding. They understood that they were at the end of the world.
Then.
And I think, I don't know how to even put it to words. They were at the end of the world, or the age, and then like a new one started. When Jesus was here, he did all these things. And so he moved all the evil spirits out of Sheol, or hell, out of the heart of the earth. And what did it say? It said, he said, and break the gates of brass and bruise in pieces the kingdoms of iron, whatever that means. But that's what he was going to do in hell. And
Is that,
so, go ahead.
are those the kingdoms in Daniel?
They could be. They very well could be.
Because they're brass and iron.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's weird.
But so he's telling Adam and Eve that he's going to bring them up into heaven.
Was he going into the future and doing that?
He said, it says here, then we'll, yeah, I do. And that's why I'm saying, I think that when he says the end of the world is come, I think that was, in a sense, that was when he was crucified and he descended into hell, and he removed all the souls from hell. Let me look, or you know what? I should be sharing my screen. I'm sorry, guys. Start cam. Oops, I don't know what I'm doing here. There we go. Look at this in Matthew 27. And sorry for anyone that was listening. The last few times I mentioned this, I said Matthew 28, and I went to read it again, and I'm like, that's not even Matthew 28. It was a 27. So sorry about that if anyone was confused.
Close enough.
But this, when I read this, this goes right along with what the Word of God prophesied about when Jesus came, and it goes right in line with Enoch, the 70 generations, the fallen angels being taken out of that place in the earth. They were taken out of the earth. Yeah, chapter 10, yeah. And I have a video that I made on TikTok that has all those verses in it, and I might play that. As soon as I read a little bit in Matthew 28, I'll play that, and then we'll be done. I just want to share that because, like, I want to go over it in my own mind. I'm just trying to understand it.
Yeah.
So when Jesus was on the cross, and verse 50 in chapter 27 of the book of Matthew, it says, Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from top to bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. Now when the centurion and they that were with him watching Jesus saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, truly this was the Son of God. So this was a witness, the physical things that happened and the resurrection that happened, because these weren't zombies walking around on earth in Jerusalem. They went up into the holy city.
Right.
They arose. And so the people that were alive at that time, they witnessed that. And I'm wondering if there's even something like Josephus or something, like he's a historian or something. I wonder if there's something even that he wrote about that.
I think about
because
it
it had to have been, because I think he did write about Jesus ascending into the clouds.
When it talks about the dead in Christ, are those literally dead people, or are those people that were dead?
I think they were just asleep. They were just in their grave or whatever.
Okay, well, I'm thinking like some of the other scriptures that talk about the people that are dead in Christ, they come back to life. You can look at that two ways. They could be literally dead,
like Ezekiel 37, the valley of dry bones or whatever.
Or they could be spiritually not connected to God.
Mm-hmm. Or they could be, because sometimes it says sleeping. This says the saints which slept arose.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, when I read that, it's Jesus removed hell from the earth, you guys.
For sure on that, yeah.
Because he took the souls of the saints up to heaven, to the holy city.
I think that's what...
If you look at Enoch chapter 10, and he prophesies about those being buried for 70 generations and then being led off to the abyss of fire. You guys, the abyss of fire is in the sky.
Yeah. No doubt. I think that's why Isaiah 14:9 says that hell would be moved.
Yeah, hell from beneath is moved for thee. If you're going to move something from beneath, you're probably moving it above.
Yeah, it's where the Lord's at. As he says it meets me.
Meet him at his coming. Yeah.
At his coming. Yeah.
Yep. And then also, that is exactly in the same book, in the same chapter of Isaiah. Right after that, he's talking about Lucifer wanting to ascend into heaven.
Yep.
It's all about going up and down and like up to heaven. And see, that's what we have to apply that to what's happening today. We really do. Rockets and things. These are devices that are created for the times that we live in. They're like it says this like in Jeremiah 51. It talks about God. I don't know exactly how it's worded, but that these are his devices that he used against Babylon.
Yep.
And so the solar system, that's why what is above us, that's what this is titled. Okay, so before we get into that, let's play this video. It's like 2 or 3 minutes long.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like kind of the scriptures then, and just think about the resurrection as like I'm thinking that basically when Jesus came and when he went and was crucified, that everyone that had died at that point that was a saint or that believed in him, he took them up to paradise. And they're crazy. Paradise. I didn't think that before, and I'm starting to kind of be
sounds better.
Like I just believe that, I guess, when I read some of these things, it just makes sense in a certain way. So I'm just trying to share that. But let's see. Let's play this video. This one it's a TikTok video, but it's got the scriptures here that I think are relevant. Whoops, I thought I pressed play. Okay, here we go.
And when they see the destruction of their loved ones, bind them for 70 generations under the hills of the earth, until the day of their judgment and of their consummation, until the judgment, which is for all eternity, is accomplished. And in those days they will lead them to the abyss of fire, in torment, and in prison they will be shut up for all eternity. And then Semyaza will be burnt, and from then on destroyed with them. Together they will be bound until the end of all generations.
And the Lord said unto Michael, Go, bind Semyaza and his associates, who have united themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, till the day of judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is for ever and ever is consummated. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever.
Then came the word of God to Adam, and said to him, O Adam, as to what you say, bring me into a land where there is rest. It is not another land than this, but it is the kingdom of heaven, where alone there is rest. But you cannot make your entrance into it at present, but only after your judgment is past and fulfilled. Then I will make you go up into the kingdom of heaven, you and your righteous seed, and I will give you and them the rest that you asked for at present. And if you say, Give me of the water of life, that I may drink of it and live, it cannot be this day. But on the day that I shall descend into hell, and break the gates of brass, and bruise in pieces the kingdoms of iron, then will I in mercy save your soul and the souls of the righteous, to give them rest in my garden. And that shall be when the end of the world is come. And again, as regards the water of life, you seek it, will not be granted to you this day, but on the day that I shall shed my blood upon your head in the land of Golgotha. For my blood shall be the water of life unto you at that time, and not to you alone, but unto all those of your seed who shall believe in me, that it be unto them a rest forever. The Lord said again to Adam, O Adam, when you were in the garden, these trials did not come upon you, but since you did transgress my commandment, all these sufferings have come upon you. Now also does your flesh require food and drink. Drink then of that water which that flows by you on the face of the earth. Then God withdrew his word from Adam.
An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
And in those days they will lead them to the abyss of fire, in torment, and in prison they will be shut up for all eternity.
In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever.
It cannot be this day. But on the day that I shall descend into hell, and break the gates of brass, and bruise in pieces the kingdoms of iron.
Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. Now when the centurion and they that were with him watching Jesus saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, Truly, this was the Son of God.
Boom. I don't know what to think of it. Like I'm still just trying to understand more than I do understand. Deborium in the chat. Deborium is a Globe guy, and he's a local. I know him, or I know his family, and we've debated before on my channel. And so yeah, we'll do that soon, Andrew. We'll do that soon because I think that would be fun to have a debate, conversation, whatever you want to call it. And we get pretty belligerent and pretty. No, I'm just kidding. We don't. We have fun. JP says, new here, intrigued. Are y'all flat earth people? I'm a flat earth people. Tommy says too, I think. I'm not trying to speak for you, Tommy. I mean, you never know. You might go back, right? No, you can't go. You can't go back. It's impossible.
You go back to the globe. You go back to space.
Yeah, so that's kind of the topic of that we were actually talking about a little bit. The solar system, you guys, it's a trap because I think it is Babylon. I think it's a great city that basically it's a deception.
It rules and reigns over the earth.
Yeah. And over the kings of the earth. Yep. And I do think that this has to do with Armageddon. I think that this is like either that battle happening right now. Well, I think it is. Yeah, it is right now. Because one of these days...
It's been happening.
It's been happening, yes.
Yeah.
It's been happening.
It's been happening.
I just made a... You're going to laugh. I just made a TikTok video today. I did put it on my channel. But I'm just looking on here. It's got 5,800 views. But it says Elon Musk launched another rocket at the firmament. Did it break through? It was like a weird atmosphere thing, whatever you want to call it, that happened.
Yeah, I was like actually reading
a ring.
I was reading that Wisdom of Solomon when that thing went off last night, and I was like, why am all of a sudden I'm in Florida? I told Alicia, I said, maybe that's the one right there. I said, maybe there's a reason why I'm here tonight.
You never know.
It didn't happen.
You never know. Well, see, me and Tommy see this thing in all these scriptures. We see it like clear as day. It's in there. There's no disputing it, and I don't think that people would dispute it. They might just tend to. What's the right word for it? Because it's like they're just saying it's not likely, kind of, and so they're not really. I don't think that's what it's talking about. And that's fine. But when it's clearly talking about something, for example, Enoch chapter 57, do you know what I'm saying? That chapter, it's like 3 verses, and they're all very descriptive. I'm going to have to go there. They're very descriptive. Well, it matters because it all depends on, too, if you like some of these other books. This says, and it came to pass after this that I saw another host of wagons and men riding thereon and coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. And the noise of their wagons was heard. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it, and the pillars of the earth were moved from their place. And the sound thereof was heard from one end of heaven to the other in one day. And they shall all fall down and worship the Lord of spirits. And this is the end of the second parable. He saw something, you guys. Like, doesn't matter what I think he saw, because he told us exactly what he saw. He saw men riding in some kind of wagons up in the sky, and they were going from the east and from the west to the south. And the noise of their wagons, it was super loud. He called it turmoil. And the holy ones from heaven, those would be angels. They remarked it. And the pillars of the earth were moved from their place. Well, if you believe what Enoch says, and you go to chapter 18, it says that the pillars of the earth are the four winds. The four winds are the foundations of the earth. So think of something going through the four winds that's super loud, that have men riding on it. That's that's a bad sound, is what I'm trying to say. A rocket. Rockets are loud. You know what? Speaking of rockets being loud. Oh, Tommy, sorry, I didn't see you back in there. I saw you were gone, but I thought you just deserted me.
No.
So yeah, he saw something, and what he saw is something that we could say that we see happening all the time. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
A rocket launch. Oh, you know what? You know Paul Begley, right? Pastor Paul Begley?
Sounds familiar.
Let me, oh, I can't. I was going to say, anyway, today he was talking about X.com and Elon Musk or whatever. And he's like, this is not a very good, like, this sounds like Revelation 13. And he even mentioned the rockets being landed, and he said it's like a miracle. He wasn't like saying that that's a good thing. He was just saying of the accomplishments or the things that he's done, the big huge things, and then now he wants to make this X. It's like it'll be like something that everyone does everything through, like all your bank stuff and all that would be going through this thing that Elon Musk thinks or whatever. But I don't know much about it. I haven't looked into it much. But he did mention, so I put in the comments, and he even makes fire come down from the sky when he lands those rockets. I think it's something that's amazing that we live in a time where there is actually, and I mean literally, whether you believe in space or whatever, there's literally what do you call it, a machine? A metal tube with rocket engines on it that comes back from wherever it's going. It's lifting something into a place of darkness where everything's falling. That's what it's doing. It's trying to get going fast enough so it can fall, and it's a deception, but yeah, JP calls fire down. Exactly. Somebody like Elon Musk, it could be said, and I don't think it would be like if you, it's not dishonest to say this. It's actually true, but you might word it different. But Elon Musk can call fire down from the sky. Literally. They do it all the time when they
Almost
land
every
those
day.
boosters. And JP says I'm not buying it, and I get that, but that's not the point that I would be making. I think you saying I'm not buying it, that just means you're overcoming this huge deception. That, to me, that's what that means. Yazwil says it's all CGI. Means the same thing. Yazwil means the same thing to me. Yaz, you've overcome this horrible deception. That's just what I think. I think that's why you don't buy it. That's why you see it that way. I'm not saying it's either way, but there are people that witness it. I mean, you can go onto YouTube, and there's countless videos of people watching them land just from wherever they are, near Cape Canaveral. Or Thomas, you've seen one land, haven't you?
I've seen the dragon. I've seen the boost come back, the lights. I've seen the dragon going across the sky. That's all I've seen. I haven't seen it up close, but I've seen it from
yeah, and it's local when you're seeing it, like 2 hours away.
2 hours away. Yeah.
You wouldn't hear it, but
I didn't hear it. I seen it though.
But yeah, that's Enoch was describing seeing something that was, that's just an example that I'm giving Enoch 57. I don't really hear a lot of people talking about Enoch 57.
From that distance, it did look like stars falling. It did.
Yeah.
But it was during the day, it was in the afternoon. It wasn't dark yet, but if it would have been night, I definitely would have thought it would have been stars falling. Like, it made me think about that.
Yep. Oh, we lost Thomas again. He was cutting out there a little bit. So that's one example. And see, what happens here is that these wagons, in this loud noise, it removed the pillars of the earth from its place. It like shook the winds or whatever, the four winds of the earth. I'm not saying I know specifically what all that means, but I like that Sean TV says, Deborium, that's so nice of you to volunteer as a verbal punching bag. That is nice of you, Andrew. Thank you. Oh, is that true? I didn't know that, Yaz. It says X is the single gender. Interesting. Oh, here we got Tommy back. You were cutting out a little bit, but I could still tell what you were saying. Uh-oh, you there now? Ooh, it's cutting out a little bit.
I don't know. Still there.
At the beginning, it was good, so maybe it'll come back. Hopefully. JP says Elijah called it down. Yeah, that's true. And then there's going to be, in Revelation 13, that second beast is said to, it's like a false sign, though, that he does. Elijah called down fire, but this would be a false sign. It would be a deception. Actually, maybe we should read that I think I got it open right here. I got Revelation 20 open. Let's see. That's Revelation 13. So one interesting thing about this beast that makes fire come down from the sky in the sight of men, it actually came up out of the earth before that. And it had two horns like a lamb, and it spoke as a dragon. The Falcon 9 rocket, it's a 2-stage rocket. So there's like 2 rockets that get launched, it separates after the booster's done or whatever. But and it lifts a dragon capsule all the time. Lifts a dragon capsule up there all the time. Wherever it's going or whatever, it doesn't really matter. I don't think we can know all those things, but what I'm saying is this story's happening in real life. But it says, so when he does the fire coming down from this heaven, check this out, what it says about it. It says, and he doeth great wonders. So it's calling it great wonders right there. So that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. And listen, this could be like Elon Musk or something, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had a wound by a sword and did live. Think of Starlink. What's he doing with that? Starlink. They just launched 22.
I think that's got something to do with the space shuttle.
Starlink?
No. That's that verse right there.
Oh, that verse. The first beast, you mean?
Yeah. I think that's got something to do.
Well, the first beast before him, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because that brung them back to life.
Because the only one before him was the shuttle, before Dragon.
That's what I'm saying.
Because Dragon does it now, but it was Russia, which would be like the second one. But not the second beast in Revelation. But yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, it says he saw a beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, like the shuttle you're saying.
Yep.
And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed.
Remember the first beast? I'm trying to think. Ain't that how it goes?
In Daniel, it's the shuttle.
Yeah.
Or I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think it sounds like it describes like the shuttle. Lifted up from the earth, made to stand on feet like a man.
Fits the bill, that's for sure.
Yeah. Lifted up from the earth. I mean, that means something. Let's see. Somewhere in time. Welcome. Joe, what chapter is the alienment in sky? Woman, moon at her feet, traversing in pain, sun at her shoulder. Yeah, I think that was September 23rd, 2017. That's in Revelation 12.
Mm-hmm.
Revelation 12, like the first several verses. But yeah, I actually have a video on my channel where I kind of showed that, a picture of that. I uploaded like this week. I don't remember what I called it though. Let's see. We're 6 years past that sign in God's calendar. Yeah.
Are we 6 years past that sign?
Yeah. Yep.
That's interesting.
It is.
Ain't that the same year we had that eclipse?
Yeah, it was, the eclipse was August 21st. It was right before it. So
and then 7
let me
years
just
later,
open this up and then I'll
one.
turn the sound off. Whoops. Sorry. Right there.
Right? Yeah, 7 years later we have the other one. That's mind blowing there because
that's crazy.
It just happens to be 7 years, like.
Yeah. And that's like next year? Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Starship should be up and moving by then.
That's scary.
Wink, wink. Yeah, wink, wink.
Leviathan, you mean? Yeah, see, look at the screen. Look at the screen right now. This explains a little bit of like the thinking. I think it really matters what we believe, you guys. What does this woman represent?
Heavenly Jerusalem.
New Jerusalem.
I think so.
The temple of God. Like the holy city. So when we were reading about Adam and Eve being told about what would happen, and in Matthew 27, when it was saying that all the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints arose, and they went into the holy city. So I'm not saying that it's in Virgo or something like that. I think that that's just more of a sign in the heavens. It could be right there. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But what are we believing? If we're believing what SpaceX is doing and what they're saying and stuff, what does that mean? What is that doing? For our, do we believe in New Jerusalem?
Taking away God's dominion.
Do we believe the throne of God is up there and there's a crystal lake surrounding him or beneath him? Water?
Right.
Dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Do we believe what it says in the scriptures? Well, I think there's like a divide here. That's just, hopefully this picture kind of gives somewhat of what I'm trying to say, gets it across for me. I believe that New Jerusalem's up there. I think anything space is just an abyss. It's an abyss of darkness, and we've been talked into it as if it's something we should explore, which is probably the worst idea. Whoops. We got you still, right? Did I just knocked you out of the stream. I'm sorry.
I'm having service issues anyway. I don't know. It's going in and out.
You sound pretty clear right now. So
I'm in between a bunch of warehouses. I thought it would be good over here, but I guess not.
Yeah, that and it's kind of a guessing game because you're usually somewhere you're not too familiar with.
Yeah, I went ahead and came here to see if I could load. They wouldn't load me though. I got here like 2 this afternoon. They wouldn't load me. They said come back at 7. So it's all good.
As long as it's like not a bad part of town.
Oh no, it's pretty much just warehouses back here where I'm at. It's all trucks.
Should I play that C3PO video again?
The CP2.
What he talks about the solar system?
Yeah, that's funny.
If we really think about what the solar system is, just think about what it is. I'll play this video again. It's really short. Okay, here we go.
About what the solar system is space. Everything floats in space, right? Do you know why? They say it is because of gravity. Everything in the solar system is in a state of freefall on a large body of mass like a planet or the sun. Everything there is perpetually falling. So, in that sense, it is an abyss of darkness. I think everyone should reevaluate the idea of going into space. I think it is evil. It makes people deny heaven and God's throne in heaven. Do you believe in God in heaven on his throne? I hope you believe that instead of believing in a solar system with planets in a perpetual state of freefall. It seems so evil.
It seems so evil.
Did you?
Whoops. Sorry. Yeah, it seems so evil. It does.
Boy, that guy looked nervous.
Which guy?
That astronaut.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he looked like...
Could you imagine me the first person to go out there like that? Whew.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I when I think about it, I just kind of like... It's just like in a category in my mind where I know it's not even... Like, it's not even real, but it is it's real if you believe certain things, but it's not real if you believe other things. And right. To say that sounds like flaky, but it's not. Because if you believe, you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Spheroidal Master, welcome. Says Ed White. Yes, that was Ed White. The first American spacewalk.
That's why he said it was the beast that was, is not, yet is.
Could be.
I think so.
So
it's definitely a deception.
So
sure.
I have a video. We've watched it before, but it's one that I think it ties something together. You guys know about meteors. Like, especially in 2013. Oh, this doesn't have that in it, or maybe it does. I don't think it does, but we'll watch part of this one. It's the firmament so hot right now. That's the title of it.
Gotcha.
But
I'm gonna try to hang on. I don't know how my service is gonna hold. See what happens.
All right, I'll click you back in if you lose it.
Try.
So this video, there's something that happens with these rockets landing, and it's literally exactly what happened. It like the same principles or whatever that happened back in 2013 in Russia, and I have that in this video. But I'm comparing something. There's something going on that I don't think anybody probably understands it fully. But there's something going on with two things that we've witnessed coming into the sky, and here's the video. So the question I ask is, can men get through the firmament of heaven? Can men break out of this world into the heavenly realm? What does it sound like when something breaks through the firmament? Anything that's ever broken through the firmament is going real fast. So fast that it happens and we can see a meteor or whatever come in with our eyes, and it's like a light streak. And then it takes some time for the sound of it to get down to the ground, because sound only travels so fast. Hast thou with him spread out the sky which is strong and as a molten looking glass? Since December of 2015, there's been a machine that men have built that appears to do the same thing as a meteor does. The sound called
each other, and when they see the destruction of their loved ones.
Sorry guys, I screwed up. I clicked the wrong button. Here we go. We're back to this one. Sorry, like this.
Yeah, there they are. Coming in like meteors, real fast. They're gonna do a final burn here in just a moment. There's final burn 1 and 2. 2 candles coming down. There they are. Double sonic booms. Down, beautiful landing. And I see 2 standing. Perfect. Double sonic booms.
There are the twin sonic booms. Landing legs up deployed. Sonic boom. Landing legs up deployed.
Holy shit! What? That's so cool!
1 touchdown confirmed. Landing operators moving 11 touchdowns.
That's ridiculous. America!
2nd Baruch, chapters 36 through 40. All right, so that's what I wanted to show on that one. There's just some images. I was going to see what was after Baruch. Let's see what's after Baruch. Hungry wolves among their flocks. And they shall go up. Nothing? And until the times aforesaid are fulfilled. This is your vision, and this is its interpretation. That, whatever Baruch, I forgot what chapter that was, 36 or something? That's an interesting one about... Yeah.
It's towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So...
Alicia's Bible, it's 1952. I checked it yesterday.
Oh, yeah, you sent me something from it.
Yeah, it's got 2nd Baruch in it. It's got the Wisdom of Solomon in it. It's got 2nd Esdras in it. It's crazy. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Bible.
So that was like, they took all that 66 book canon is like new then, seems like.
It's a book that they only made 1,000 of them. Or it might be 100,000. It might be 100,000 of them. But it was for the Queen. It was for the Queen of Scotland.
Really?
Yep.
So they included. They gave her some of the good stuff, good chapters.
No Enoch. Books. But the Wisdom of Solomon.
I don't think Enoch was like ever in. Like in the.
I thought it was in the Ethiopian text.
Oh yeah, you know what? Sean says that. It is.
I think it was originally.
I've heard that more than one place, yeah.
I went on there to Jacob's Sons of Jacob's Ministry and listened to it as I read it. And it's word to word. It's all the same, all direct, yeah.
So I think Enoch's coming up in this video. So there's only like, let's see, there's only like 3 minutes left, I think.
Might as well finish it.
Might as well. And in those days, the angels shall return, and hurl themselves to the east upon the Parthians and Medes. They shall stir up the kings, so that a spirit of unrest shall come upon them, and they shall rouse them from their thrones, that they may break forth as lions from their lairs, and as hungry wolves among their flocks. And they shall go up and tread under foot the land of his elect ones. And it came to pass after this that I saw another host of wagons, and men riding thereon, and coming on the winds from the east, and from the west to the south. And the noise of their wagons was heard. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it, and the pillars of the earth were moved from their place.
That's ridiculous.
And the sound thereof was heard from one end of heaven to the other in one day.
Double sonic booms.
I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation, and the firm foundations of the earth. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the 4 winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. And I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of heaven, and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of the heaven. And I saw the winds of heaven which turn and bring the circumference of the sun and all the stars to their setting. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the path of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. So that's interesting. The last thing he said, he saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above.
Right.
I think that it's not out to the end of the earth. I think it's up Well, it could be out, I guess, too. But between heaven and earth is in the sky, I think. Because even like the winds, what he was saying is that the winds of heaven, they turn and they bring all this, the circumference of the sun and the stars to their setting. So that's why the sky is turning. Let me see if I can give you guys a example of that.
That right there makes me think of Second Esdras, where the sun will suddenly shine in the night.
Whoops. Could you guys hear that? No? C-3PO? Okay, never mind. Sorry. I missed what you said. I was trying to show you guys this. Looking north from my house, that's camera's pointed at 45 degrees. That's where the center of all the stars are from my house. So
that's crazy.
It is.
It is.
And as you look, like if we were to look up, you see how like there's small circles like being made towards the center, and they get bigger as they go out.
Yep.
They continue to do that as far as you can see. Excuse me. But yeah.
Covers the whole sky, huh?
Yep. And if you go south, it continues on, and then it does this again in the south. But it's all one. It's all one motion. All of them moving at one motion.
But in the south, you see it going the opposite direction, right?
Because you're facing the opposite direction. Like west is still going down in the west and rising in the east. Like yeah, if we're looking at this picture, we're facing north. So they're rising in the east and they're setting in the west, like rising on our right, setting on our left. And then if we turn around, they're going to be rising on our left and setting on our right. Just because we turned around. So east and west would flip. So they're all going one direction, but yeah, depending on where you're looking, you're going to see the opposite rotation. Like if you're looking north, no matter where you are, if you're looking north, you're going to see counterclockwise rotation. And no matter where you are looking south, you will see clockwise rotation.
I think if I would have seen that years ago, I would have questioned something.
Yeah,
I never seen that until Flat Earth. Like if I would have seen that before the Flat Earth, I probably would have started questioning what the sky is. I'm like, why is it doing that?
This is not very, I would say this is not a very old type of imagery. I mean, I think it was first done in like 1930 or something like that. But like most of us probably didn't see, we saw pictures of this maybe like in like a dictionary, or not a dictionary, but a encyclopedia or something when we were kids. I don't know. But I don't think a lot of people had equipment to do what we can just push a button and do now. So,
right.
Oh yes, Spheroidal Master. Do you understand what we were saying? It is just like that, a complete sphere of stars. That basically is what it looks like.
Says that in the Wisdom of Solomon too, that the sky, the circle rotation of the sun, moon, and stars, something like that.
Yep, it says that in the Bible too. It talks about the sun running or as if it was running a race. Going back, can't remember exactly what it says, but yeah. So the sky is this thing that, we're all taught to think of it and look at it as if it's just because the ground's turning slowly, rotating slowly. And it might appear the same way. And so people would say, well, what difference does that make? Well, if you look at it as reality shows you, everyone would agree, even if they don't want to, everyone would agree that if you plot out a position of a star and wait 5 minutes and do it again to the same star, that it will be in a different position, which is, as far as I understand, that would be motion of that star going from the first position that you noted and then to the second position you noted. That's movement. That's what the word moving means. And so the sky, literally, the world and the sky that we actually live in presents us with a moving sky. And so I know we're all taught to think that it's the ground doing that, making it look that way. But if you can think of it the other way, the actual way, you can learn a lot from that. Even just about the stars, even just looking at the stars.
I mean, obviously those trees aren't moving, but the lights are.
Exactly. And the camera was not moving too. So, and then people, they're like, I get it. You want to go to think about like reference frames or relative motion and things like that. But in reality, I took a time lapse with my camera. Didn't move my camera because it wouldn't look this pretty if you moved your camera. Your camera has to be perfectly still. Like you have to be careful that you're not bumping it or that it's windy out. It would ruin it. So you can tell by looking at the tree that it was just very not windy. And I think this is I think maybe it's 10 seconds long. And if it's not, I think the original was 10 seconds long, but it's 250 minutes of images. You know what I'm saying? I did it with the P1000, I think. But you can, and this is not very good. This is like low quality. You can get really, if you had a nice camera, you can do a lot with that. I hope Tommy's still here. Okay, good. You're being awfully quiet.
Yeah. I just woke up not long ago.
Yeah, you've been all over the country, just like always.
Yeah, it's been a wild week. Crazy week. And I'm like getting ready to go over to this other place pretty soon.
I would agree, Spheroidal Master. It's a parent movement. But it is movement. Sure. So I agree with you on that. But if like, I'm not saying to concede at something. What I'm saying is consider the thought that in the same way that you say it's apparent, I say it's reality because it's apparent. It is doing what it's doing. So let's see. Here we go. Let's have a debate. Do you accept that the two poles are exactly 180 degrees apart? I don't know exactly. That might be over my head, friend. I would say that north and south are like opposite, 180 degrees apart, if that's what you're saying. I think something like that. I mean, if you look at the North Star, and then if you were to look at, what is it, Sigma Octantis or something, I would guess that they're 180 degrees apart. I don't know though. Yeah, celestial poles. Yeah.
So that's
yes, there's two celestial poles, one in the south, one in the north.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
And it's almost as if it was like almost like a tube. I don't know what other word to describe it as. Like a tube, and it appears like this. I don't know if this is reality, but it appears like how we were just looking at those stars or whatever. Let me start my camera again, just show you guys how we're looking at that when we're whoops, wrong one. How did I do that? Oh, I gotta go over here. We're looking north, right? So as we look south, we see the stars like they're making bigger circles. as they go past us and to the south, and then you can see, like if you were near the equator, you'd be able to look to your left, and I don't know if I can modify this. I think I can. Let me try something here. Sorry. I just got to make a horizon somehow. I can do it with a black screen like this. Sorry. Okay. So if you were at the equator, it would be like that if you look north. And then I can even change the direction, and it would be like this if you look south. Notice how they're setting where the tree is?
Do you think that's like a tube going all the way across the horizon?
The whole world is in it, kind of. Like, I'm not saying it's a tube, but it appears as if it goes from one end of the world to the other end of the world. And there's like locality to the sky. Because like people always say, why can't I see Polaris from Australia? You're way too far away. Look, we're at the equator. Look where it is. Well, this would be the south that we'd be looking at. But the way it is from my house, see right in the center of the screen, right above the horizon that I made, is that star. That's Polaris. So this is what it would look like from the equator. You'd never see it from Australia. It would be, you'd see like, let's see. I'm just playing around, but you'd see like that from Australia if you look, or no, you'd see like that. That's just how it works.
Because
from my house,
your perspective.
Yeah, that's part of perspective, and it's part of how it's part of how we see things. So yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like almost like a tube. But people say, well, how can the stars all be going how can they be fixed with each other? Because they think they're all these different distances away. And when I look at it, I don't have any reason to think that they're all these distances away, simply because they are all moving together. Right. It seems like they're in unison or whatever. Like what I believe and what I see is not always the same, but I believe that they're like angelic beings flying in orchestra or whatever around something that is in the center of it, and they're encircling a throne. That's what I see. That's what I believe. But what I see is I see stars, lights, whatever we want to call them, luminaries.
Yeah.
I don't think they're burning suns that are distances away. I think that they're simply stars, and that there's an element of mystery to them, to the people that live below them, to the people that live on the earth. There's an element of mystery or secret, something secret about the stars from the point of view that we have.
How would man even know what they are if they're that far away? Think about that.
Well, it's mostly ideas that they have.
To them, like the nearest star galaxy or whatever, the nearest star is like unfathomable, like
it's like 4 light years away or something.
Yeah,
something like that, or maybe even crazy.
Well, you sent an instrument there.
But that to me, that's not valid evidence that anything is. If you get put it this way, if people think that they are the highest form of being that exists, whether it be like a lion or like animals, or some people believe in demons or spirits. So if you think that you're the the highest being that exists, you don't believe in God or whatever, if you're in that, way of thinking, I don't know even how to say it. Then you must see this as something physical. You must have explanations for why the stars are all fixed and why they all move in unison. And you must have ideas that you believe about these stars, but I bet you they're not what I believe. You know what I'm saying? You can look at things two different ways and they're both legitimate. It just depends on, like, if you think you're the highest form of being, this is why satellites or like sending a probe to, or sending a rover to Mars or something. There are higher forms of life that's not of this world, and there's both good and evil in that not of this world place. And they can trick people quite easily, I believe. So to have the state of mind that you're like, that we can understand everything, I think it's a little scary.
For sure.
There's a lot we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at those, like some of those near-death experiences or whatever. A lot of those are very similar.
That brings me to Jesus saying that you'd have to be born again just to see the kingdom of heaven. That right there makes me think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and being born again. And then I think it's in the book of John, he talks about what it is to be born again. Born not of the will of, or the will of man, or like the will of the flesh or of man, but of God. So,
right,
like not like being born into the world physically, but spiritually, however that means, spiritually. And you can like have what I was just talking about, the spiritual realm. To me, it's real.
Start seeing things differently.
Yep. And I think that's Jesus. He gives eyes that way. He does. Makes you see things. And I mean, I think I can speak from like experience in my own life that he makes it known to you, like things that you didn't really think about much before that. And there are things that after a while you look back and you say, oh, that I've changed. I don't think that way anymore. About just a lot of different things. But you'll notice that it's like I don't think a certain way. It's because I see things a certain way that I didn't see them before that way.
And there's a world of people that's happening to. That's another thing.
Thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, all over the world. That don't even know each other. Some of them do now because of that. But just
hey,
the idea.
What do you think
just
of this,
the
Thomas?
idea of all that.
Whoops.
Mine made
wrong,
it.
Wrong one. This Hindu one.
Oh.
What do you think of this? I have my thoughts about it, but I wanted to see what you think about it. I'll read it. Near-death Hindus have Hindu experiences, like near-death experiences that I mentioned. They see Krishna.
Maybe what they're calling Krishna is what we're calling the Father in heaven. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, like I don't think. Like there's a lot of people in the world that don't. Like, well, I guess there's huge countries in the world that don't see the same. They don't read the Bible. They're not interested in that. They're interested in whatever they read. What do the Hindus read? Do you get what I'm saying? It's probably, I don't know this, but I think that, well, anybody that's of the truth hears his voice.
There's only one truth, though. That's the thing.
Well, and that what I'm saying is, like you were saying, Krishna. I don't know. We can do what Sean Griffin does and learn all the history about all the gods and all this stuff, which is not a bad thing to, have an idea about. But I just think how history works and how time works and everything, that until they are a certain gospel is preached to them, it would be the same thing to me. They see Krishna, right? They see Krishna. Do they see the truth? Because if they see the truth, they hear his voice. Like that. That to me, he doesn't speak only English.
No.
Half the world calls him Yeshua, and
he speaks in the spirit. He speaks through the spirit.
Spirit of truth.
That's right. I see what you're saying. Don't matter what you're believing in. It's not like what God you're calling on.
And I think that has to do with Armageddon. I think it does. I think the grace of God, Jesus, grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. That's what it says. So just think about that. Grace came by Jesus Christ. So if you were in a world that nobody believed the truth about the world, about his entire creation, throughout time, they've made up something that makes sense to them, but they're all wrong. And his grace, he sends his spirit of truth to guide us into the truth. And all of a sudden, think about it. What did I just tell you I believed about the sky? What did I, I don't believe it's a solar system, you guys. The Earth isn't in the sky anyway.
No.
So I just think
there's wandering stars.
I think he's changed my outlook, not me.
I agree.
What were you going to say?
I said there's wandering stars that are making man think there's a solar system.
Yes, and they're actually imprisoned, bound. I never thought of binding something in an orbit like that. What do the planets do around the sun?
Enoch says they roll over it.
Yeah.
Yep.
7 of them.
Yep. Rolling over a fire.
Enoch chapter 18 is a heck of a chapter, man.
Huge. Yeah, it's huge. That'll open you up.
I think he's taken to the solar system, shown it, and shown what it was. I'd have to agree. That it was a waste and horrible place that was turned into a prison for, the fallen angels that took human wives, and for 7 stars that didn't do what God said. Think of the planets. They're different than the fixed stars.
What if I thought of this. What if those, what we're calling the planets, are the angels that came down and mated with women?
Well, it says their spirits assumed many different forms. But see, I don't think I think the planets were there since the beginning of. I think they were there because Enoch said it was at the beginning of their rising that they transgressed.
4th day, yeah.
And that's why I think it says that Babylon, in Revelation 18, that it says everyone that perished on the earth or something.
Can they be there and here at the same time?
Explain what you mean.
Okay, so like Mars is some false god that the Greeks. It was like a man that was on the earth.
Or like the Greek
just
gods
how they named
or whatever.
them. Yeah, the Greek gods.
Makes me think of the pyramids and stuff like that, like the
all kinds of
pyramids
stuff.
and
History, yeah.
All that kind of stuff that's hard to understand how people had the means to do, and we know that it's a long time ago. It's like, wow, that makes you think.
He says these angels are locked in this abyss, and those were the ones that mated with women. I'm like, to me, it sounds like those are the wandering stars. Like,
well,
I don't know how
yeah,
to explain
it kind of says that, but I think that they're even different from the wandering stars. But they're in the same prison because I'm gonna go to that Enoch and just share with you guys quick. Let's see. Whoops. Let's see if I get desktop. Can you guys see the book of Enoch?
I told Alicia I'd trade her the book of Enoch for that Bible.
Oh yeah. Then you just get another book of Enoch.
I want that Bible, man. Yeah, that Bible's awesome. I could sit there and read that Bible all night. It's crazy.
Chapter 18 and then the end of 18 and then the beginning of 19. But it's talking about the stars, these 7. In verse 13, it says, I saw there... Can you guys see my screen?
No, not yet.
Okay, I think I did it wrong.
I still got the press that button.
There we go. So this is chapter 18 of the book of Enoch, verse 13 down here. I saw there 7 stars. So this place was beyond that abyss, and it had no firmament of heaven above and no firmly founded earth beneath it. There was no water upon it and no birds, but it was a waste and horrible place. And he says, I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains. And to me, when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, this place is the end of heaven and earth. What did we just say about what it was at the end of the earth was the firmament of the heaven above.
I see what you're saying here. It became a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. Okay.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah.
Maybe the stars are different from the fallen angels. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think the stars that it's talking about is these 7 right here. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven.
I agree.
So, the host of heaven would probably be the same angels, or it would maybe be other angels too. But I think that those angels that came down, Samuel and his hosts, or was it Semyaza and his associates?
Semyaza, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they would be considered hosts of heaven because they were angels. So, but it says, and the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising. That's a solar system right there, you guys.
Yeah.
So there's 7 stars which roll over the fire. Well, they're evil, by the way. It says, because they did not come forth at their appointed times. And he was wroth with them and bound them till the time when their guilt should be consummated, even for 10,000 years. But then it says, and Uriel said to me...
Why would he say that? Why would he say that?
They were bound?
Even for 10,000 years.
I don't know. I think that's just a term that means like forever or whatever, like a long time. You know when he says, when it always says... 1,000 times 1,000 angels or something, 10,000 times 10,000. It's just trying to say, like, I think it's trying to just describe a massive number. But
I got you.
But yeah. And Uriel said to me, here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits assuming many different forms are defiling mankind and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. Here shall they stand till the day of the great judgment, in which they shall be judged till they are made an end of. So I do think that those angels, the 200 or whatever, the fallen angels, I think that they are in that place that we're calling the solar system. and the system of the solar system is the like the chains, the prison chains, or like chains of darkness. What does it say in 2 Peter, that they're under chains of darkness, right?
In Ezekiel, that's what it says, make a chain.
Yeah,
for the land is full
let me
of bloody
look up.
crime.
Let's see here. I got on my Facebook, man. I didn't remember I don't know why my thing wouldn't work. Let's see, is this Bible Hub? What is this here? Let's look at 2 Peter chapter 2. This is just one place, and then we could look at Jude too, but this says, for if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment. Well, that's them, right? Same angels, I mean?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
And then Jude mentions
That's
them.
2 Peter.
Verse 6, I think. Yeah, that was 2 Peter 2, verse 4. Here's Jude, verse 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. I think that's just the solar system.
Yep.
Under chains of darkness. Like they're like an orbit. Do you know what I'm saying? If you look at it that way. I mean, like, the Earth is clearly not going around the sun. The sun is clearly going above the Earth. So,
I agree.
If you think that the Earth is going around the sun, you're just believing that. No one sees that. No one witnesses that. Ever. Even in space. Like, no one's ever made a claim that the Earth going around the sun is something that we observe. No one's ever made that claim. It's only something that we imagine. I think Spheroidal Master would probably agree that there's no observation of the Earth. I mean, an actual one, though. He says we do every day. I mean, an actual observation of the Earth orbiting the sun. We don't see that. Nobody sees that.
Only in science do we see that.
And I mean, if we can imagine it. Ooh, disagree. I thought you were coming over closer to this side. Thought you'd be what would your
Once
name
you go
be?
flat, man, you never go back.
Flat Master. That would be a good name.
Flat Master. There you go.
You know what? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Start a channel called Flat Master and just kind of keep in the background just in case, because I think we're going to get you. We'll get you. Exactly. The sky moves. Look at he's starting to agree. He's starting to see it. The sky moves 15 degrees per hour. That's true. The sky, that is the truth. That's in that video we were looking at of the stars. It is true. The sky is moving. The stars are moving about 15 degrees per hour. The sun moves about 15 degrees per hour. The moon too. They're slightly different, but pretty close.
I don't even think about any of that stuff anymore. I'm like, can't prove any of that. Like, I mean, I guess you can if you're measuring the stars and how they move and whatever, but
I do think it's important for people to realize that we have been indoctrinated into a belief system that a lot of people that are in that belief system tend to think that they don't have beliefs. So it's hard to get them to think differently. And I'm not ripping on anyone. I was there. It takes time to think about these things, I think. What do you think, Thomas? It's taken years, and I'm still thinking about these things. It's still trying to learn the truth.
For sure.
Lots of years. Lots of years.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in the Wisdom of Solomon, man, he's chapter 13. I think it's talking about satellites.
Oh, let's check it out. You want to just read it, or don't you have it there?
I got it here. I mean, PDF of it.
Can you read a little bit? Otherwise, I can look it up if you want.
It says, surely are all men by nature who are ignorant of God and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. I would take that to be like the...
Oh, I think we lost him there for a minute. Let's see here. Spheroidal Master, you're funny. Beliefs supported by evidence. Evidence of the sun or the earth rotating the sun around the sun? Come on. There is no evidence for that. There's evidence for the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. That's what there's evidence for. Beyond that, it's hard to really say what the sun is actually doing or what it actually is, how far away it is. It's just part of reality is what it is. So, belief supported by evidence. When I saw my first sunrise, it was obvious we were rolling towards it. In your world, yeah, I guess. I mean, CJ says, yes, rolling is when you take ecstasy and go crazy. That's funny. Bit you won't read in us. Okay, let's see here. That explains things completely. The astronomy book is wrong right off the bat, dude. Look up what a sidereal motor is on a telescope, and it'll tell you that a sidereal motor, which makes the telescope move, they'll tell you that that's to compensate for the ground rotating. When in actual reality, it is the motor itself is there to turn the telescope to match with the turning sky. That's the truth. It's hard to even argue with that. Because it's actually true whether you believe that the earth is rotating or you believe what we're presented with, that the sky is rotating. Just saying. Ruled by Saturn. Wait, spherical master. Whoops, I'm having a hard time with these. There we go. Do you think people don't read? Oh, I thought it said something else. Sorry. Offsets turning Earth. But what is actually happening? The telescope has a motor in it to turn the base of the telescope, to turn it with the motion of the sky that I can show you if you want me to. I was playing that time lapse. So that time lapse is evidence that the sky is rotating, and the camera taking the image over whatever that is, 2-3 hours or whatever, not moving at all, is evidence that the camera was not moving at all. So I'm not trying to go to a concept. I'm trying to just be real. Like, in reality, the telescope has a motor so that it can move with the sky because the sky is moving. So, there we are. Oh, Tommy is back here. I didn't even see you. Sorry, bro.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, you were on the Wisdom of Solomon. You sound clear now, so I want you to read.
Yeah, I got my phone out by the window. I think it might be my truck or whatever. I don't know.
He's out standing on top of his semi, on top of the trailer.
I'm on top of the trailer. You're crazy.
All right, I want to hear what you were going to read.
Listen to this, though. It says, surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of God and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster. That sounds like the creation.
Yeah,
It
it
says,
does. Would they look around
but
and see the things that are created? Yeah.
that's right. And they don't, you know, they don't see that something created it. They deny the person they deny the entity that created it. That's kind of how I get that. But deemed either fire or wind or the swift air or the circle of the stars or the violent water or the lights of heaven to be the gods which govern the world, with whose beauty, if they being delighted took them to be gods, let them know how much better the Lord of them is, for the first authority of beauty hath created them. But if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them. For by the greatness and beauty of the beauty of the creatures, I can't say this word proportionably, I think that's it. The maker of them is seen, but yet for this they are the less to be blamed, for they peradventured error seeking God and desirous to find him. For being conversant in his works, they search him diligently and believe their sight, because the things are beautiful that are seen. It's talking about the creation.
It sounds like Romans, doesn't it? Paul must have read that.
This is when it gets into what I was talking about right here, though. Howbeit neither are they to be pardoned, for if they were able to know so much that they could aim at the world, how did they not sooner find out the Lord thereof? But miserable are they, and in dead things is their hope, who call them gods, which are the works of man's hands, gold and silver to show art in, and resemblances of beast, or a stone good for nothing, the work of an ancient hand. Now a carpenter that fleeth timber after he hath sown down a tree meet for the purpose, and taken off all the bark skillfully round about, and listen to this, and hath wrought in handsomely, and made a vessel thereof fit for the service of man's life. Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a capsule, like they're building a vessel to save their life.
That sounds like when in Jeremiah 51, when he talks about him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine.
Right.
It says, I just picture people riding on a rocket, or maybe not even people. Not people. They look like people.
And after spending the refuse of his work to dress his meat, hath filled himself. They're talking about this carpenter, and taking the very refuse among those who served to no use, being a crooked piece of wood and full of knots, have carved it diligently when he had nothing else to do, and formed it by the skill of his understanding, and fashioned it to the image of a man. That's crazy there. Or made it like some vile beast, laying it over with vermilion and with paint, coloring it red and covering every spot therein. And when he had made a covenant room for it, set it in a wall, and made it fast with iron, for he provided for it that it might not, listen to this, for he provided for it that it might not fall.
It sounds like me hanging a mantle, dude. This is horrible. What's it saying?
It says, knowing that it was unable to help itself, for it is an image. Remember the image of the beast?
Yeah.
And
it's
had
like a machine, right?
Yep. Then making he prayer for his goods, for his wife and children, and is ashamed to speak to that which have no life. For health he calleth upon that which is weak, for life prayeth to that which is dead. for aid humbly beseecheth that which hath, I can't even believe I said that word, hath least means to help. And for a good journey he asketh of that which cannot set a foot forward. And for gaining and getting and for good success of his hands asketh ability to do of him that is most unable to do anything. And then it goes into this, is it a vessel again? Again, on preparing himself to sail and about to pass through the raging waves,
raging waves foaming out the
shame.
Sorry. Yeah,
Yep,
that's
right.
from Book of Jude. It says raging waves. It's talking about the waters above.
Calleth upon a piece of wood more rotten than the vessel that carrieth him. This, I'm telling you, man, like 12, 13, 14 in this book's like, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look over that again.
It even talks about like the truth being revealed and the elect, how they come out of all this. But this is definitely talking about men who make these images that think that they're going to save their life, and there's like no life in them.
Like wizardry, man.
Yeah.
Where they make, what's the definition of wizardry? Like there's like a few, but one of them is, it sounds just like building a rocket. It does.
Is it Haparzo or Haparzo? Am I saying that wrong?
The art or practice of magic, and then great skill in a particular area of activity, and then very impressive or ingenious technology or devices. Wizardry.
What is the Hebrew word they use? They say it's pharmakia. Is that what it is? They say that it's
sure.
like
I think maybe, but I'm not sure. Should we look into that?
Well, I hear
where
a
is
lot
that? That's in Revelation 18, right?
I hear a lot of
sorcery.
Yeah, I hear all the truthers saying that that's like drugs, pills.
And I think it is. I think pharmakia. I think that is the word it uses. Where is it here? It talks about sorcery, remember? Let me see. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see my screen right now. Sorcery. Oops. Okay, right here. By her sorceries were all nations deceived. So I was just going to look at this. That's 18 verse 23. Let me get you guys on the screen.
Now that's Babylon.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at the words
which
that
is
it uses
in the heaven.
Is what I was going to look at. Let's see, because it says by her sorceries. This is a long verse, I think. Yeah, sorcery. Yeah, it is pharmakia. Let's see what it says. The use of medicine, drugs, or spells, magic, sorcery, enchantment. To administer drugs, the use of medicine, drugs, or spells, sorceries, poisoning, sorcery, magical arts, sorcery, witchcraft.
Well, you know what they do on the ISS, right?
Pharmacy. They make drugs and stuff. That's what half their science is.
That's where Xanax and all that came from.
To benefit the humans. Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ever even think of that. A lot of these troublesome things.
Yep. A lot of pills were made from the ISS. Yep.
Well, that's what they're always doing. I think I had a video about that. Should I find it?
Yeah, we got drugs, lots of drugs.
Drugs that nobody even thought of. That's Trump.
That's right.
I'm going to, you know what? How do I get that? I got to get it on there with the, it's going to be hard to find it because just the way YouTube is. You guys, oh look, blocked. You guys can see so many videos of mine get blocked. Not too many. Drugs. I thought that would get me there, so I don't know.
Yeah, you just had it up.
Well, that was the Trump one, but I had ISS one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, let me do ISS and just see.
Yeah, I mean, all one's got to do is a little research, and it'll tell you what they've made from. They call it from like testing things in zero gravity.
You guys remember when I go up there? I haven't been up there for a while.
Ain't that weird though? Instead of making things on the Earth, you have to go to a place where there's no air and stuff to test things. I don't understand that.
Zero gravity.
Yeah, like there's something there with that.
Yeah, there is. They're in
something right with that.
Pit, dude.
Yeah.
It's a pit. It's a pit. They're falling. That's why they float. That's why, like, and unfortunately, it's because it's like, I think it has maybe even something to do with this mark that we'll read about in Revelation. Remember his number is 666? That's like the solar system's favorite number, dude. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Curvature of the Earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
0.666. That's interesting. And
all the speeds are like 666,000 miles and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the Earth orbits the sun at 66,600 miles an hour or whatever. Curvature for 10 miles would be, or 100 miles would be 666 feet or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, I still haven't figured that out. Probably never will, like what that actually means. But it does add up to what you're saying there. I've thought about that.
It's right after it's talking about that fire coming down and deceiving them. Like that,
right.
He used that miracle to deceive those who dwell on the earth. And then he talked to, then it says, and he caused them to get this mark or whatever.
Think about like being on the side of the truth, whatever, flat earth, whatever, and you tell someone about it. And what's like their first go-to reaction? Like, what do they use to support not going to believe it's flat, like at the globe? Like they're like NASA or mainly the ISS. They're like, you've never seen pictures from the ISS? Like, I get a lot of people that say that.
Whoa, look at this. This one's up to 821,000 views. That's almost 1 million. I don't know if it'll make it though.
Oh, it'll make it.
I don't have any that made it to 1 million.
You don't have no videos that made it to 1 million on TikTok?
No. I think that's the most one. I have a lot that are like 3 or 4 or 5. Here's one that's 549,000. Here's 240,000. Here's 295,000.
I'm going to have to check out some of that. I haven't been on your TikTok in a minute. I don't really get on TikTok much. But
108,000, and then I'm just saying the big ones.
I don't know why I don't go on TikTok. I really just forget. I don't get much notifications.
Do you have the app on your phone?
Yeah, I have the app, and I'm subscribed to yours and a couple others.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I know you on TikTok. I tag you every once in a while.
I don't remember. Never get the tags. That's weird. I got your moon one the other day that you did.
Which one? The moon one?
The moon one you did. I think it was at
like
night.
live or whatever?
Yeah, I got that one. Said the mosquitoes.
Yeah, I've been on TikTok, I think, for a year now. I think.
Yep. Thanks to Chicken Little,
86,000. Yeah, Chicken Little. Shout out.
For sure. Hope he's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be on TikTok if he didn't talk me into it. He talked me into it, and he's like, you gotta just do it. And I'm like,
hey, however we get this information out, that's what's important.
I'm going back to the beginning so I can see. Oh, there's one with 433,000 and 329,000. I have way more views on my TikTok than my YouTube. And my TikTok's like a year old, and my YouTube is...
Have you seen
like
that?
13 years old.
I made a video today I put it on my Facebook, on my whatever those are, those little short things you do. Forget what they're called.
Okay.
But
like a little
it's
clip
that.
of it.
Yeah, it's that one guy, Bill Nye, the science guy.
Yeah.
It's the planetary club. They have a club that you join.
The Planetary Society or something like that.
There you go. Yep. And he's like, if you dream about space all the time and the planets and being out in space, join our club. I'm like, wow. Like,
hey, you're on my TikTok right here. Talking about
it couldn't have been more evil, man. Like the way he said it. I was like, that wow, like it's crazy.
So this should tell me the date of my first TikTok. Whoops.
Is that your first one?
Yeah, this is my first one. First one on 9, so I'm not quite a year yet. September 19th.
Yeah, you're getting close.
I got 16.6K followers.
Time's speeding up, man. I know it is. I can feel it.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember this astronaut? He says when he first got up to space and he looked out the window, he had to look away. And he's like, we're not supposed to see this. It's like a secret. Yeah, he felt like something was wrong when he looked out there, like he shouldn't be seeing it.
Right.
And he actually said that. So that's interesting. We're not meant to see this, he says.
I know, I've seen his face before.
Yeah, he's the guy that talks about peeing upside down and...
Yeah. He was on the shuttle.
Yeah.
Yep. He's on the Soyuz too, I think. Wasn't he?
He's a big guy. I don't know if he could ride on the Soyuz. I'm sure he's been on this. He was on the shuttle. He might have been done after the shuttle, actually.
He might have.
Yeah, he was on the shuttle. I think quite a few times. He's the one that, remember Hubble, and the lens was messed up.
Yeah, put the lens in backward.
They devised a way to, like, cure to take it out of blur or whatever. And he was one of the guys on that mission. Yeah, they went up and like met up with it.
So they fixed it up there.
This is what they say. Yeah, they fixed it up in the sky.
I got you.
Like they opened it up and changed a bunch of stuff up there.
I don't think they could deorbit it. It would burn up. Ain't that crazy? Well, like once they put something up there, they can't bring it back. Not like that.
Well,
like
I would say that everything, if you put it up there, it's going to come back eventually. But
not for sure.
Not necessarily in one piece. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like. Well, like what geostationary satellites that are supposedly like 23,000 miles away from the Earth or something, and they're zinging. Think about it. If the Earth is rotating, I'm just saying this is what people believe. And so they're, whatever satellite TV or whatever, zinging around 23. So it's got an orbit that's like with a diameter of like 46,000 miles or something like that. And it's doing the same rotation as the Earth, but that far away from the Earth. So it's going, wow, wow. It's flying around because it's far away. And I forgot where I was going with that.
So why is the ISS moving faster than the stars?
Probably because it is free to move it's probably free to move however it moves. I've
always thought about that because it's moving way faster than the stars.
Yeah, well, it sure is. It goes across the sky in like 8 seconds or something. Or I mean 8 minutes. 8 seconds. 8 minutes. If you see it like horizon to horizon. But I think that, like, look at the Starlink satellites, they're going all different directions.
But even them, they're moving slower than the ISS, way slower than the ISS.
I think they're moving about the same speed.
Are they?
Maybe even, yeah. I think they're higher than the ISS.
Starlink is?
I think so.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I think they're up at like, I don't know. Let me look up and see. Let's just find out.
According to them, yeah, I got you.
What did I put? Elevation? 342 miles. So yeah, they're like quite a bit higher than the ISS.
I was looking up the
but they don't get up there right away. It takes time for them to get up there.
I was thinking about the weight the other day. I got a load of bricks the other day, and I was like really heavy, so I had to drive slow. Like I wasn't having trouble stopping, but I felt like I was gonna have trouble stopping. So like I would really stop. I start stopping at green lights and stuff just to make sure I didn't,
Yeah, bricks are heavy.
Well, it felt like a tanker load, and then every bridge I go across was like 42 ton or so. I always forget what the pounds are, so I Googled it, and I was like, okay, 42 ton is 84,000. So I'm like, I'm not 84,000, I'm like 79. So 80,000 is 40 ton. That's our legal limit on a 53 footer on a truck's normally like 80,000.
That's a heavy load, and you were right up there.
Yeah, I was like pushing it. So, but I was just thinking about the rockets. I was like, they say the space shuttle was 4 million pounds. So that's like 2,000 ton, maybe more.
It's insane. It's insane.
I'm like, how in the hell? Excuse my French.
Let's just, since we got Google here, just for fun, let's
how
look
that
up
thing get up like that. That don't.
Let's look at Starship, or what do they call it? Starship weight. I don't know what.
It's 300 or it's 3,000 ton. The Starship is, I think.
It's 11 million pounds at liftoff. So it says
the space shuttle was 4 million pounds, so it's heavier than.
Yeah, it's like almost 3 times as heavy.
3 times, yeah.
It's the largest and most powerful rocket ever flown. Well,
that should do it, folks. Wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, that's just the thing is, like, if the stories that these prophets wrote are not only coming true now, like in ways we didn't expect, when that starts to happen, and you believe what they said, you'd think that you'd believe the rest of their story, and the rest of their story has a sky that gets destroyed.
Yep.
And it's like right at that time in the story, like I can see what does it. I can see. Yep. I can see something. Let's put it this way. This would probably be the loudest thing.
For sure.
That men have ever continuously made sound. I'm saying
the loudest machine ever made. Yep.
Like a bomb might be louder at the moment of detonation. I don't know, but what I'm saying is shaking the sky and shaking the ground, shaking the air. This is the most powerful thing that men have ever created. I mean, as far as at least what we know of.
I think it's got something to do with it being in between that place, like at that wall. That at the point, like the re-entry point, I think something's gonna happen at that point, like there. That's what's gonna do it. Like
that's like the most. They have a name for that. They have a name for that. Yeah. It's called. It's the most pressure on the vehicle. It's like right when it's right after it's going the speed of sound. What do they call it? I can't remember. There's like the most rough time on the vehicle or whatever. The most stressful part of the flight.
Well, we have volcanoes that make them rockets, and they're like nothing compared to a volcano. So we have things that detonate on Earth that don't destroy the Earth.
Yep.
So I think something's got to happen. Like I said, at that point, at that point of leaving and coming back, like that.
And it has something to do with the winds, the 4 winds.
For sure.
I wonder if we're in that time right now where people are getting sealed in their foreheads with the seal of the living God. I think we are.
I do. Yeah.
So get that seal, guys. You can pick it up down at your local Bible.
Your local Bible.
Your local Bible store.
You can pick it up by asking God to just show you the truth. That's
yep,
it.
and like that's actually true.
And you'll probably be led, more than likely, you're going to be led to the scriptures if God shows you the truth.
And then you'll find something, you'll read something in there, and it'll draw you closer to what you're reading, and you'll be like, I need to understand what this is saying. It becomes of the most
important
interesting and important thing that you can think of trying to understand, you know?
Yep. Say goodbye to movies and sports and all kinds of other stuff, and then you'll just be like, I just want to hear scripture all day.
Music even, and whatever. It all becomes something that's hard to how do you say it? You can't put value in something unless it's going towards what you're understanding in the scriptures. Because there's something important happening. Something very important happening.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a heavy beast, I'm gonna call it. It's a beast.
Oh, I got one for that. I'm stuck on this book, bro. I'm telling you, this book's amazing.
Read it. I want to hear it.
Listen to this. Let me find it. I think it's 12. I told you, like, if you do read this book, read 11, 12, 13. Where's it at right here? Okay, right here, yeah. It's 12.
I'm showing off their dumb rocket. Oh, there, look at the scales. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's... Wow, yeah.
Leviathan.
That thing made me cry when it launched that time and it blew up just the last time. I literally cried. I told God, I was like, I'm sorry they're doing that. That's crazy.
Now these things down here, these metal things, they go way up high now.
Just look at that thing. It's insane.
Yeah, that's
it
really
looks
big.
wicked.
It does. It looks like a lot of things.
Let me read this 12 real quick. I'll just read half of it.
Yeah.
It says, "For in thy," this is the wisdom of Solomon, not the testament, but the wisdom. It's chapter 12. "For thy incorruptible spirit is in all things. Therefore chastenest thou them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance, wherein they have offended. They leaving their wickedness, they may believe on thee, O Lord. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hadst for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and also those miracles or miraculous murders of children and devourers of man's flesh." Remember that beast? It said, "Arise and devour much flesh" in Daniel. I don't know if you can still hear me.
I was muted, sorry. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, that was like the second beast, I think.
Yeah, because listen what it says, starts going into these beasts. It says, where we at? Right there. It says, "And devourers of man's flesh, and the feast of blood, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help." There's some of these words. "That the land which thou esteemest above all other might receive a worthy colony of God's children. Nevertheless, even those thou spreadest as men, and didst send wasps, forerunners of thy host, to destroy them by little and little. Not thou wast unable to bring the ungodly under the hand of the righteous in battle, or to destroy them at once with cruel beasts. or with one rough word, but executing thy judgment upon them by little and little, thou gavest them place of repentance, not being ignorant that they were a naughty generation, and that their malice was bred in them, and that their cogitation would never be changed. For it was a cursed seed from the beginning, neither didst thou for fear of any man give them pardon for those things wherein they sinned. For who shall say, what hast thou done? Or who shall withstand thy judgment? Or who shall accuse thee for the nations that perish, whom thou made? Or who shall come to stand against thee to be revenged for the unrighteous men? Somewhere in here it starts talking about those beasts. This is a pretty long chapter. Maybe. Definitely talking about these people doing ungodly things. Where are we at here? For neither is there any God but thou that careth for all, to whom thou mightest showeth that thy judgment is not unright. Neither shall king or tyrant be able to set his face against thee for any whom thou hast punished. For so much then as thou art righteous thyself, thou orderest all things righteously, thinking it not agreeable with thy power to condemn him that have not deserved to be punished. For thy power is the beginning of righteousness, and because thou art the Lord of all, it maketh thee to be gracious unto all. For when men will not believe that thou art of a full power, thou showest thy strength, and among them that know it, thou makest their boldness manifest. But thou, mastering thy power, judgest with equity, and orderest us with a great favor, for thou mayest use power with thou wilt. This is hard to read. It's crazy.
That said, with him, it said something about righteousness and graciousness.
Yeah.
That's Jesus. It's who he's talking about. I mean,
it talks about Jesus in the beginning of this. It talks about how he was brung into the world and like pretty much put to death, like all the bad things that they did to him, and like no man could compare to him. Like he was above all men.
One of a kind.
Yeah, it's at the beginning. It's definitely talking about Jesus when you read it.
Yeah,
for sure.
But it with him comes righteousness, and with him comes grace, like graciousness.
It's hard to read these, so what I do is I listen to them and read them at the same time. That's how I really connect to what it's saying, because some of the words are like they're like old English. I was telling Alicia that.
It's hard to understand some of it.
Yeah, I wish they had a Bible that was like common language, like we're talking right now.
Yeah, just people talking.
Yeah,
it would be nice.
I think the old English really, it's hard to comprehend it. I know way more than I used to know about it. I never thought I would know any of this. Like,
I started reading the New King James, and then I switched to the King James, just because it seemed like when I was talking with people that most people would be usually familiar with the King James, so I just, for some reason, I just got familiar with that, and so it doesn't seem too far up. But yeah, like I remember reading the Ascension of Isaiah, the Vision of Isaiah.
Right.
That is hard to read. Just the wording, it is just difficult to read. It's on my channel, by the way. But yeah, it's the wording. It makes it like really hard to even make the words come out of your mouth.
It's been a while. I've been wanting to listen to that Testament of Solomon. I ain't read that one. I listened to it in a while. I keep putting it off.
That one's crazy. That one's crazy. Yeah. So many demons.
Yeah. There's so much, man. Oh, and
so
that
much
book
happening that people think is just normal, and it's like influence. you know.
I'm gonna start looking for this other book, Joe. But in her Bible, there's Ecclesiastics. It's the wisdom of Jesus. It's apocrypha.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
I want that Bible, and she's like, you can take it if you got another Bible with you. And I was like, no, I don't have another Bible. I didn't bring a Bible. I thought I gave her.
You know what? I
thought I gave her her Bible back. I want that Bible.
Give a link. I can give a link to, where is it? The Vision of Isaiah.
So check this out, man.
Okay.
This new company I'm going to go to work for on the 15th, they run up your way. They deliver in Minneapolis. So
Minneapolis? Yeah, if you get up this way, we for sure got to meet up.
I'm going to do a restart up there. I'm going to try to get a load. What they do is they have a load that goes up there it's tires, and it delivers on Monday morning. So if I can get up there Friday afternoon, I have the weekend off.
Oh, really?
If I can just crash on your couch or something, we can hang out for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Got to. Let's see.
Probably in the next month or so, I'm sure.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. They run about the same as what Beacon does, but they run some other loads too. They run up there where you're at. They run to Baltimore, and they run to Idaho. They have a load to Idaho too, which is a little different, but
I'm putting a link to the Vision of Isaiah in the chat right now. That's from the Ascension of Isaiah.
I wonder if the Sons of Jacob's does that one. I never looked.
I'll bet you he does. He does all of them, doesn't he?
No, he don't do them all. There's a couple that he don't have on there. I've mentioned a couple to him on the chat, like you should do this one or you should do that one, because I love his voice. Some of them are.
Franklin said he read the 1599 Geneva Bible with Old English, and you can find the term flat earth in one copy of Tyndale.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He's like, says something, they went up onto the flat earth or something like that, maybe?
Yep. Ascension of Isaiah. I'm looking this up to see if he did that one. Maybe yours will come up there. I remember the one you did.
I just got, you know what? Let's see.
Yep, there you are right there.
I'm going to make sure that's the right one.
You got
1.7
thousand views on it 3 years ago. It came up.
Oh, okay. I think it's this one right here, right?
The vision which Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw.
It's a crazy vision, you guys.
It is.
Check it out.
I don't see the Sons of Jacob's on here, though. I don't think they did that one.
If I wasn't running out of StreamYard minutes, I'm just kidding.
That might be what's wrong with my phone. My data, I'm already over like 100 gigs. That might be why my phone
slows it down or something.
It slows it down.
Yeah, we should probably get off pretty soon. I know my StreamYard says my minutes are down and they don't get renewed till August 3rd or something. But that's coming up. So what is that? A week?
For sure.
Just over a week.
Yeah, a week.
So I hope we'll be around on Sunday. We'll see.
Yeah. All good.
I'm sorry
about the reception.
No, it's all good. Do what you can. It's been clear for a long time, so.
Yeah, I'm kind of sitting in one spot. It seems to be working a little better.
I don't know if this video, I don't know which video this is, but it might be our outro. Let me see.
Listen to the Gospel of Truth too. That's another. That's another good.
That's not the right one.
You know it.
What's that?
The Gospel of Truth. That book right there is beautiful. I love that book. Oh
I'll have to check that out. The Gospel of Truth.
It's on. I'll send it to you. It's on Australia Grace Media. Do you have them? I'm sure you do.
I don't know if I do.
They have that.
Actually, I don't think I do.
They have that weird language. They do the Gnostic scriptures. They're
really?
good. Yeah, they have a crazy voice. Oh, and they do the Lost Book of John too, the one I was telling you about last week.
Oh yeah, that's not the Gospel of.
It's
Thomas.
the secret. It's the secret book of John. No,
the secret book of John. Okay.
Yeah. It talks about how Noah and his family and other families were put in this vessel and they were lifted up in a bright cloud. Okay,
you were telling me about that.
I'm like, what?
Hey,
I told I told Alicia yesterday. It talks about Noah in that Wisdom of Solomon.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he built a vessel and left the earth. That's what it sounds like.
Or the angels built him a vessel
and lifted it up and took him
up into the clouds. I don't even remember where.
Maybe
I'm probably the Book of Enoch.
Like
he said, "I'll put my
ISS
hand
is.
on it and preserve it. I'll put my hand on it and preserve it." He said.
Yeah.
To Noah.
I like
Or
Tony's
no, did
videos.
he say that to Enoch or Noah? I can't remember.
You know, I kind of feel like Tony was talking about this morning. There's things you're not going to know.
Yeah.
For people to hate on other people because they say, well, you don't really know that. I agree with what Tony was saying this morning.
I think we all want to know, but that doesn't mean we're going to know.
You know, I do feel like something happened before already, like something devastating. I know Noah's flood for sure, but it feels like maybe 2 things have happened already, like 2 resets, and now we're about to hit the 3rd. Like, that's how I'm feeling. I don't know why. I just feel like that.
Except the 3rd ain't a reset.
No, it's
I think it's actually the 2nd, but yeah, I don't know. I think
somewhere it says 3. Somewhere I think it's either Enoch or Second Esdras. It says that there's
really?
3. There's 3 delusions or disillusions or something like that. There's 3 times that.
Okay. Yeah.
Crap hits the fan. Literally, like
3 ages, maybe, or if you worded it different, maybe.
That's what I was kind of telling Tony this morning. Like 3 ages, 3 times.
Because I get that idea about.
What
Jesus was telling Adam and Eve that he would bring them up into heaven at the end of the world. And I'm like, that was the end of their world. But then when Jesus was here, like, where did all the souls go now?
What happened in what is that? I've got the word wrong.
They go to paradise, I think.
Gomorrah, what is that?
Sodom and Gomorrah?
Yeah. What really happened there?
It was ugly.
Was that like a worldwide event?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think it was just those 2 areas.
Because it's talking about like hailstones falling and stuff from the sky.
Oh yeah. But it was just on this wicked area. Like.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they were. Well, Sodom. Just think about it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And yeah, Lot lived there. I don't know why he lived there, but Lot lived there, and it was told to him that he better get out of there. And these 2 angels went to go get him out of there, and the people were even trying to get the angels to, the people in the town. And so, yeah, it was a bad place, and he destroyed it.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it. I haven't really done a lot of research. I listened to Genesis a couple weeks ago when I was going to sleep, and I was like, wow, like, I might have this wrong. Was it Abraham? His 2 daughters, they got him drunk or something, and
or
was that Abraham?
Was that Noah?
No,
it wasn't Noah, was it?
I thought it was. I thought it was Abraham. Like, there was something. I might be wrong. I might have it wrong. But his daughters were like, "Are we the last people alive? We need to have more children." So
yeah,
we're gonna have to seduce our father. And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." It didn't sound good. Put it that way. I almost turned it off.
I'm looking it up to see who it is because I don't think it's Abraham. Let's see.
It's in Genesis. I know that.
Yeah, it's in Genesis 19.
Yep, that's about where it was at.
It was Lot. It was Lot.
Was it Lot?
We were just talking about Lot. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Abraham was before Lot, I think.
Sorry, Abraham. I didn't mean Abraham.
Sorry, Abraham. We ain't dogging on you, dog.
I mean, I ain't dogging on Lot neither. I mean,
no.
I've had my own issues, not like that, but.
So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. I just read.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's crazy.
the older daughter had a son who she named Moab. He's the father of the Moabites.
I do think there was other people in the flood like that got saved. I mean, I hate to say that, whatever, but why do we have what do we have, 8 different races or something like that?
It's hard to say, man.
How do we have Chinese, Spanish, and like Caucasian, and then we have black people? I'm just making like
no,
4 or 5.
I know what you're saying. You're saying we have every variety of people
out of one family.
Well, it wasn't only one family though, because the daughters were, the sons had wives, so they weren't like.
It was 8 people, right?
Yeah, I think it was, but here's the thing: is like when we read about the Tower of Babel in the Bible, it gives us a story. But there's other books.
That's after Noah, right? The Tower of Babel was after Noah. It was Noah's family. It was they went out and they were in search of new land.
It was Nimrod, and it was I think you're right. Yeah.
So it was the seed of.
Didn't we talk about that last time, or the time before, or something? I think we mentioned that.
I just don't understand how you get 8 people. I don't care what color they were. That's not what I'm saying. But like, how do you get all these different races out of just that one family? I don't know.
That's a good question.
And then I read that, like I said, I read that secret book of John. It's talking about and other families like were saved too.
It's hard to say. Here's how I would look at it. Maybe they had like what we would call slaves or something like that, or people that like, I don't know. But here's what I would say. I would say that when we read about the Tower of Babel in the Bible, it gives us a very limited story of that, right?
For sure, yep.
And then we have Jasher chapter 9, and then...
wasn't Nimrod a giant? Wasn't Nimrod like real big?
I think Nimrod was like... He became like a mighty man. Like, I think he... I don't know how, but I think he
that's like a tree.
But I think he had
same for Elon Musk.
He was possessed. Something like that. Yes.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me?
What? Elon Musk?
That the mighty man is same as Elon Musk.
Yeah. But kind of like that, how you just see like everything Elon touches just successful.
That's
like
it.
Big time.
Yep.
Like way more successful than he expects even.
You just hammered it. You just said it right there. Yep.
But yeah, Nimrod was like that, and he wanted to do the same thing Elon's doing.
I'm just being like off my brain because this was kind of what I think about. I'm like, what if there was DNA being involved in that? Like they took DNA. Noah did. Like he gathered DNA. He gathered DNA.
I don't know.
Took it with him, and that's how they produced these other races. Like they saved.
Who knows? Or remember, it says that there was fallen angels or giants. I think it was saying.
I just don't think
on the earth in those days and after, or something like that, right?
I don't think these people were like sandal wearing, hippie looking, backwood, living in caves. I don't think them were. No, I don't think the people were like that. I really don't. I think they had technology and they were doing all kinds of things. I really do.
I think so. Like even the Tower of Babel, they made like, I mean, look what we were actually putting it into like perspective one time.
Yeah,
and we're like, all right, let's get our bow and arrow, and now we built this 8-mile or 5-mile high tower because we're just men, right?
Right.
No, I think there's a lot more than men involved in building that tower, but. So then we're going to go up with our string bow and arrows or whatever, and we're going to shoot arrows up just a little higher from the top of our massive tower, and that's where God will be. Like, pew! It goes like 60 feet and then starts plummeting down. Like, I don't think those kind of arrows, that just doesn't make any sense. I think these were some sort of thing like a rocket. Something that would bring them up there.
Yeah.
And who knows what kind of technology could have been. But at the same time, I can't say that I know that. It just seems to me they weren't primitive people. They're the same as us.
Remember what he says in, I think it's Ecclesiastics. He says there's nothing new under the sun.
And remember that when, like, think of what it was like before the flood. It would have been tons of technology and stuff because the giants were all living here, and think of what they were doing here.
For sure. They were teaching, according to Enoch, they were teaching people metals and all kinds of stuff, root cutting.
But the giants themselves, think of what it says about the giants, that they were like an abomination. Yeah. Like Enoch talks about the offspring of the fallen angels with the women, and
Right.
they were evil spirits. After they would live 500 years, and then they would war themselves off, like they'd have civil war and kill themselves off, and then they would be evil spirits on the earth that would hunger and thirst without bodies. So they, like, I'm just saying, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I think you're right about we're entertaining angels.
I believe so. So that's what I was talking about with satellites and with the Mars rover, stuff like that. If you don't think that the angels can't send you impressive photos of a place or videos of a place in your little orbiter, your little, like, if you don't think they can produce that, I would think again.
Right.
That's how, like, that is one of their best allies in this, is that you realize men aren't going to these places.
I'm still trying to figure out how they're taking ones and zeros and making pictures out of it.
Well, they have a way, I guess.
I don't understand that.
Well, either way, whatever they expect to get, that's what they're going to get.
And the images look like Earth.
Yeah, they look like Earth.
Like just, literally, like the background, the mountains.
Alaska, or like Canada,
Greenland,
right?
Greenland or Canada, Greenland, it's like, that looks just like that image. What is that?
Well, and here's the thing. They even have like little fake rover up there in Greenland or something. Like there's pictures of it on Google.
Right. There was one in here. There was one in this Testament of Wisdom of Solomon. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to do. Go back to my
PDF. Zigzag brings up something interesting.
What's Zigzag saying?
Zigzag says, what if mud flood was Armageddon? The golden age is past, aka the millennial year, 1,000-year reign of Christ already happened. Now we are in that short season where Satan is loose to deceive the nations. See, my understanding, like, I don't know about a mud flood or whatever.
The short season is Armageddon.
The short season is Armageddon. So
that's it.
So maybe you were okay. Let's take the first part out. I think Zigzag might be saying like the millennium started, some time ago in the past, and it's maybe even already happened, and that we're in the short season where the dragon deceives the world. I mean, we do see a dragon deceiving the world, don't we? Think about it. SpaceX Dragon. We're going to go to Mars. We're going to go to all these things.
Listen to this one, Joe. This is from chapter 5. This is the one I sent you yesterday. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow, shall they fly to the mark. And hailstones full of wrath shall be cast out as of a stone bow. And the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. Yea, a mighty wind shall stand up against them, and like a storm shall blow them away. Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth, and ill-dealing shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty, the kings of the earth, as we talked about.
Dude, that's like sounds so much like low Earth orbit, and like the idea of
somewhere in here it's talking about there. It's I literally I pointed it to Alicia. She was like, "Wow, it's talking about their imagination. It destroys them." Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's actually what it says in, I think, Yah's will Soaring put it in the chat a ways up about changing the glory of God into an image that's like corruptible things.
That's it. Romans.
Yeah, Romans. Yeah.
I think that's Romans 1 something.
Yep.
120 something or something like that.
That's kind of an interesting section. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
We should talk about that next week, Romans.
We should.
Yep.
Yeah, we should probably get off. It's 2.5 hours. I think I'm running out of time for real.
For sure.
We should have time for next Sunday. So
that's
hopefully.
Cool. Yeah. I'll have to donate some money to the channel where you can get you some more time.
I still ain't gonna go get more time. I ain't buying nothing from StreamYard. I'm just kidding. They got their logo on, powered by StreamYard the whole time, so that's good enough. That's their advertising. Right. So they'll get some more free people, or people using.
Much love, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was a good chat, and yeah, some of this stuff is. I just want to understand more. That's all.
Keep searching, and if you find more books, let me know. Definitely looking for more books.
And if you detect a lie, turn around and walk away from it.
That's right. Tell everybody else. Much love.
Have a good one. Thanks for hanging out.
See you, bro.